thanking you and asking you, God, to be with us as we begin our meeting for today. Father, we don't come just asking for a lot of things, but we come just thanking you for waking up this morning and starting on another day's journey, and this we're thankful. Father, we say thank you for our city council members, our mayor, our city council members. Thank you for the work that they do, and thank you for allowing us the opportunity to govern and to serve the people of this community. And Father, we say thank you for those people who stay awake at night while we sleep, our police department, our fire department, our emergency management services. Thank you for them, and keep them strong, keep them safe. And Father, now I ask you to please give us world peace. Give us peace that we need and peace that we know that you want us to have. And Father, as we continue on with this journey today, we ask that we do the things that are pleasing and acceptable in your sight. In Jesus' name we pray. And let's say, bless our students that are here with us today. And let your children say, amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, we'll begin with the minutes from October the 25th, 2023.
Move to approve.
Second.
Got a motion by Wynn, second by Curtis. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right, we're going to come down for some awards. All right, the first award is for Gary King, police officer, 30 years of service. Take your time.
Go ahead. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Next, we have Justin Kewen, police officer, 30 years of service.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Put his arm around me.
That's Justin's first move to take it in.
All right, next we have Dorothy Sanders, Parks, 20 years of service.
There you go.
And the next one is Chief Jimmy Tover. 30 years.
I come back to work.
Nicole Johnson.
Thanks, sir. Appreciate you.
We have Nicole Johnson, who I don't believe is here, 20 years of service with municipal court. Let's give her a hand. You know, all these folks represent 130 years of service, and I just want to say thank you. I mean, you look at all these police officers and everybody else in parks and municipal court, y'all are the leaders. The young people look up to you, and they look at the long years of service. And these days, people don't stick around in jobs as much as they did in our generation. So thank you for sticking it out. Thank you for what you do, and we appreciate you. Thank you.
You can be at IT.
Good morning, Mayor and Council. The first item today is our biannual review of the Unified Development Code. The city is committed to biannual reviews to ensure that the adopted code stays current with development practice. The first item that we have for the proposed changes today revolve around uses within the UDC, also some definition changes as well. And so the first item here is a change to the tobacco, vape, and smoke store use classification. And so the staff initiated a review of these uses following feedback from members of the community. The proposed changes will establish a 300 feet distance requirement from sensitive land uses such as schools, child care centers, hospitals, churches, and city parks. The proposal will also establish a 1,000 foot spacing requirement between similar uses. And so that's essentially a density restriction. So tobacco, vape, smoke stores will be required to be 1,000 feet from one another. The proposal will also expand the uses, the zoning districts that would allow these uses. Currently, the UDC does not allow for these uses within our industrial districts, our M1 and M2 districts. This will allow those areas to be utilized for new establishments. And then the other changes in terms of zoning districts is that for our neighborhood commercial or light commercial districts, C1 district will require a special use permit, so it will have to come to city council for approval. And then also within our downtown business arts and culture district, our DBAC district, the proposal is to remove this use from that area. The one thing to note is that the proposed changes will only affect new establishments. They do not affect any of the current ones. Nobody's going to have to close or change their practices based off of this. The caveat there, though, is if a business abandons the use for more than 6 months, then they will have to come into compliance with the new rules. The next item here is change to the DBAC, again, downtown zoning district. As the downtown core redevelops, we've seen a lot of positive changes over the years. The idea behind the DBAC zoning, which is intended for the downtown planning area, which is the area within the red, essentially a square or kind of a square there. The downtown planning area is bounded by Gentry on the north, Front Street on the south side, and then Palace and Beacon on the east side. The proposal is the idea behind the DBAC district is to encourage compatible land uses to create a high-density residential, retail, entertainment district. It was identified that auto and motorcycle repair businesses, tire sales, tobacco stores, and self-storage facilities may not be in keeping with that long-term vision for the downtown area. And so the proposal is to no longer allow these uses to be established in the district. Again, any current businesses will be able to stay. Again, this doesn't affect those, it only affects any new establishments. And then there was a proposal the proposal is to revise the bail bonds use to still be permitted within the DBAC zoning, but be permitted with a special use permit. And so that, again, that will require city council to approve any request for that within the DBAC district. Also, at the current time, within that downtown area, not every property is zoned DBAC. There's still a number of properties zoned light industrial and other types of commercial use or commercial zoning districts. And so there are still plenty of areas within this area, within the downtown area to utilize for these purposes. But as we get closer to the downtown core, which is the DBAC zoning, that's where you see the real change. So the proposal is also to establish some new uses within our use table. The first one here is a second-story loft or studio apartment, essentially a mixed-use building within our C1 district. And so currently, the UDC would require that mixed-use buildings or developments utilize a planned district, so a planned development district, which can carry other requirements such as a site plan or narrative, other stipulations that can be placed on that. During the review, it was identified that can create a barrier to having the mixture of uses within a commercial structure. And so within the C1 district, allowing a second story to allow for like a loft apartment, studio apartment, would be limited based off of the height requirements or height stipulations for the C1 district, which is 42 feet, so it would only allow one story there. And you can see there in the picture on the top right. That's one of the developments we currently have in town that this is intended to allow or create an easier path to allow these within the city. That one was approved with a planned development, but it was only to allow for that mixture of uses. This would allow it by right. And then another addition to the use table is one of the things that was brought to staff, a new type of use, battery storage power station. And these are essentially facilities that collect energy or electricity from the grid, store it, and then resell it back to the utility. There's still a lot of questions about kind of where these may be appropriate based off the technology, some concerns with, volatile, materials and things like that. And so the current proposal here is to allow these, but allow them in our heavy industrial districts with special use permit, and that can allow City Council to review the scale and the scope of the project as they come in. And then finally, the last item here is something that came to staff as a question from the industry about essentially their dispensaries for medical cannabis establishments that only do that, and so they dispense prescription low THC cannabis to patients. And so in review of the law, the Texas Health and Safety Code prohibits cities from enacting ordinance that prohibit this activity, and so these uses have to be allowed within a city. And so it's being proposed here to codify this as being permissible within our industrial districts with a special use permit. It is a new concept that at the current time we would propose allowing this use in these areas, and then again subsequent reviews may show different ideas, but the use is being termed a compassionate use dispensary because it has to be in compliance with the state compassionate use program, and so there's a link there. They have to be permitted by the state. We currently don't have any proposals for this. We don't have any current businesses that operate this type of business, so, but this, again, this would apply for anything that comes in new. These recommendations were presented to the UDC Review Committee on August 24th, the Main Street Board on August 31st, and the Developers Roundtable on October 19th. All groups were in general agreement with the proposed changes. Under state law, staff was required to notify any affected business of the changes, so to the tobacco stores, to the auto repair and things like that within DBAC, within the DBAC district. Those businesses were identified and provided a written notice of the public hearings that would impact their, I guess, future use. But like I mentioned, that this doesn't change whether they can continue to operate. But under state law, we were required to let them know of things that conceivably affect their business. And so we did not receive any written opposition to the changes from any of the affected businesses, and the Planning Commission voted by 6-1 to approve the recommended changes to the UDC.
Any questions for Kyle? Yeah, I don't have any cards on this, but I do see our superintendent, Marty Crawford from Tyler ISD out there. I know the vape shops have been something you've been pretty passionate about. Do you want to come up and say a few words, or are you good? Sure. Come on up. Can you state your name and address for the record?
Yeah, Marty Crawford, work address 1319 Earl Campbell Parkway, home address 7406 Big Tree Cove. Okay. Council, thank you for considering this and whatever action comes out of this. I think you realize that this is an issue that we're having to deal with inside of our schools quite a bit. I do think the proliferation of these places of business are causing an issue. Certainly there are rules and regulations and laws to where those of a certain age cannot go inside of these, but our kids are getting them somehow. And so making this statement, I think, is a good start to making sure that we have a focus in our community on this burgeoning issue. So again, thank you for your consideration. Thank you for letting me talk.
Can you elaborate on the use on campus? How many people?
Yeah, so there's thank you, Mayor. And recent legislation actually makes it a felony, recent within the last 10 or so years, if a student is caught with a vape and has THC in it. It's sad that that's something that we have to contend with, but this has been an issue. Now it is also an automatic placement in DAEP because of more recent legislation for those vapes that are not laced with THC. So they're certainly not like tobacco where you can smell them. They're a lot easier to be able to use them during the day. They come in a variety of forms. They come in now what's highlighters and pens and maybe even calculator-looking items that actually have the vape cartridges in them to where they can actually do it while they're sitting in class. So it is something that we have to contend with. It's not new that we have some of these societal things that are creeping inside of our schools that we're having to contend with, but we are certainly having to spend an awful amount of time having to do this as far as our disciplinary program. So thank you again for considering this, and any other questions on that?
Dr. Crawford, we thank you for the great work that you're doing with our students in Tyler Elementary School.
Well, thank you. I'm actually here in a dual capacity as school superintendent. I also serve on the Main Street Board for you guys, and I appreciate their work on this as well, of getting this to y'all, to the Planning Commission, and also the council. So thank you very much.
Bill. Thank you, Dr. Crawford. Any other questions for anyone on this item?
Move to approve.
Second. Got a motion by Haney, second by McGee. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Z2.
Next item is a request for a zone change from M1 Industrial District to C2 General Commercial District. This is on Earl Campbell Parkway. The applicant's requesting the change to allow for the property to be used for medical office uses. Currently, the M1 district does not allow for medical office. It allows for general office, which was the previous use of the property, but the change will allow for that medical use. The adjacent properties to the north, in the east are zone M1 industrial, developed with a mixture of commercial office uses as well as a school. And then to the south is, it's actually been changed to C2, General Commercial District, and so this would match that. And then to the west, a mixture of commercial developments. The future land use, this is consistent with the future land use guide, which allows for the office park. As you can see here, it's the previous medical office here, or previous office building here. They plan to utilize the current structure and just for different uses. The Planning Commission by a 7-0 vote recommended approval of this change.
Any questions for Kyle?
Move to approve Z2.
Second.
Got a motion by McGee, second by McKellar. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Z3.
This is a request for a thoroughfare closure of unimproved portions of Commercial Drive and Republic Drive. So you can see here on the map, they were dedicated rights of way, but were never constructed. The applicant plans to consolidate all these properties into one lot for future development purposes. The plan or staff reviewed the application. It just does not anticipate any issues when the property is replatted because those streets currently dead end into that, essentially the dirt there, that they will have to provide some logical turnaround to accommodate those existing streets, but that would be reviewed during the replat. So the Planning Commission by a 7-0 vote recommended approval of these thoroughfare closures, subject to them being replatted within 6 months.
Any questions for Kyle?
Move to approve Z3.
Second.
Motion by McGee, second by McKellar. Any further discussion? Those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Z4.
This is a request for a zone change from PMXD1 Plan Mixed Use District to C1 Light Commercial District. This is on Troop Highway. The applicant's requesting the change to redevelop the property for another restaurant. The applicant had, since the property is zoned PMXD1, but it does not have a site plan or a site narrative associated with it, so the applicant when they redevelop the property, they have to, or they're required to comply with a site plan or narrative, or they could also elect to request to change the zoning of the property to a non-planned district. And so, in this case, the applicant has chosen to request to change it to a non-planned district, so it's not subject to any other stipulations other than what the code requires. The C1 district will allow for the restaurant use similar to what the current uses are on the property. The properties to the north and west are zone C1, and then PMXD to the east. All the adjacent properties are developed with commercial uses. And this request is consistent with the future land use guide as a mixed-use center. As you can see here, the current layout of the property, and the applicant plans to demolish the building and start over with a new layout. Of the notices that we sent out, we received 1 in favor and 0 in opposition, and the Planning Commission by a 7-0 vote recommended approval.
Kyle, this one confuses me a little bit. Okay, it's currently a restaurant,
Yes.
and it'll be torn down and a new restaurant will be constructed.
Correct.
So why is there a zoning change?
Right, so the current zoning of the property does not have it's a planned development district, which means that if there's any redevelopment of the site, that will have to be consistent with any standards in that planned development district. However, this one does not have any standards with it, so the applicant had the option to either establish those standards, the stipulations, or rezone it so it's not a planned district. And so if they weren't redeveloping the site and they were just, allowing new tenants to come in or whatnot, that wouldn't require the zone change, but the action of redevelopment of the site, tearing down the building, rebuilding, that's what's requiring some action to be taking place.
Any other questions for Kyle before we call folks up? Okay, I'm just going to go in order that they're in here. First one is Matt Schaefer. You want to come on up? You can state your name and address for the record. You feel free to use your office address.
Matt Schaefer, Tyler, Texas. Good morning, Mr. Mayor. Good morning, Council. The underlying assumption of this zoning request is that there will be a new business located at this property. I represent Tiffany Burt, who's here this morning and is the operator of the Roost restaurant that's in business there now. She's been in the restaurant business for 16 years, but this is her first year as a restaurant owner and operator. It is Tiffany's position that she has legal right to maintain her lease for the next few years. And so we just want to convey to the council that there's obviously a dispute between the landlord and the tenant here as to the nature of the lease. However, they are trying to work that out informally at this time. But again, the underlying assumption of this zoning request is that there's going to be a new business, and the underlying assumption of the business that is there now is that their business will continue. And so we just want to bring that information to the council for your consideration. Perhaps a pause in this process might be worthy of consideration. That's all I've got.
Any questions for Mr. Schaefer?
I had a question for Kyle, based off of that, for Kyle.
Kyle, can you come out?
Question for Mr. Schaefer.
Okay.
Please. So are we saying that this zone change will not allow this restaurant to operate?
We believe, my understanding is that it would allow it to operate.
Okay.
Say it again.
However, it may, just in the interest of unnecessary administrative and public action, be a moot point if the current owner stays in operation at this time.
So they will be able to still operate if we approve this zone change today?
That's my understanding.
Thank you.
Any other questions? No. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ed?
I think a question for Kyle.
Yeah, I have the same question. I just wanted you to answer that as well. If we voted to change to C1, is that correct?
Correct.
Would the existing restaurant, would it affect the existing restaurant at all?
No.
Okay.
Kyle, were there any questions brought up during planning and zoning when this matter?
No, sir.
So there's no real problem here? Is that what we're seeing? Not really?
It sounds like the problem could be between the landlord and the tenant, which is not something
That we have anything to do with?
that's a civil issue.
Right. The zone change here will actually provide more flexibility to the development of the property than the current zoning. So, but all the allowable uses are still the same. The question about individual tenants is maybe another part to that. Well, another question there, but this zone change will not limit any use types like a restaurant.
Next, I've got Sam Ivy, sits here for questions. Sam, do you want to come speak, or?
I'm just here for questions.
Okay. Okay. And then the last one is Matthew Marshall. Matthew?
I'm not saying, just here for questions on all the property owners.
Okay. Do y'all have any questions for those two gentlemen? Do y'all have any questions, period?
Nope, I'm good. Move to approve.
Second.
Got a motion by Nichols, second by Haney. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. By the way, with Roost, we had carryout last night for a bunch of people at my house, and the food was excellent. So thank you. All right, Z5.
This is a zone change request from RPO, Restricted Professional Office District, to DBAC, Downtown Business Arts and Culture District. This is on South Thompson Avenue.
Kyle, can you pause for a second?
Yeah, we're gonna
So we-
let the kids free.
My attention span can't handle two things at one time. All right, can you start over?
Yes, sir. This is a zone change request from RPO to DBAC, Downtown Business Arts and Culture District. This is to allow for the current existing use, which is residential use of the property, to be in conformance with the UDC. The surrounding properties to the north and the east, or the north, are zoned multifamily and are developed with single-family homes. To the west is industrial, but are developed with single-family homes, and then to the east is currently undeveloped property. This request would be consistent with the future land use guide. Again, this is in the downtown area where the DBAC zoning would be appropriate. It's one of our older neighborhoods where a lot of the properties are, even though they're zoned for commercial or multifamily, they are used as single family, and so this request would allow the applicant to come into conformance with the current requirements, and then also to allow them to make any modifications. I believe they're proposing to make some modifications to the structure, but the current zoning would not allow for that because it's zoned for office. I think previously the idea was that the property would be used for an office as essentially an adaptive reuse, but the residential use remained, and so they're trying to change it back to a residential district. The other notices we sent out, we received 1 in favor, 0 in opposition to this request, and the Planning Commission by a 7-0 vote recommended approval.
Any questions for Kyle? Anybody want to make a motion?
Move to approve Z5.
Second.
All right, motion by McGee, second by McKellar. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Z6.
All right, and this is a zone change from RMF multifamily to R2 two-family. This is in Council District Number 2. The applicant is requesting the change, similar to the previous case, to come into conformance with the UDC. It's currently developed, and so they are proposing to bring it into compliance. And so all the adjacent properties are multifamily, but as you see, they're not developed as such. They're a mixture of single-family homes, and I think there may be some duplexes in the area as well. This request will help facilitate the North End goal of promoting or encouraging North End development, residential development. And so of the notices that were sent out, 1 was returned in favor, none in opposition, and the Planning Commission by a 7-0 vote recommended approval.
Any questions for Kyle?
Move to approve Z6.
Second.
Got a motion by McGee, second by Wynn. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thanks, Kyle.
Thank you, Kyle.
R1. Mr. Jackson.
Morning, Mayor, Council.
Morning.
This is, to me, probably the most exciting news we could have for the budget year and the year. R1 is a request that City Council consider adoption of a resolution authorizing the city manager's application for an acceptance of East Texas Council of Government local matching funds in the amount of $150,000 to assist with the Transit Department's operating costs. This resolution also accepts any amendments to increase the funding levels and reduce the local match requirements. As y'all are very aware of the process of budget and our public meetings This actually began the next day after our first public meeting where Vince Orta and both David and Vince are here for any questioning, but we reached out to them. They reached out to us to let us know that they were here. And so we began that process of how can they help and what can we do, because it all boils down to funding of future issues. If we reduce any amount of people, it affects both his operation, our operation, because grant funding is going to be based upon ridership. And so we wanted to be very particularly aware of anything we do, but it was unfortunate where we were at in some of the circumstances. And we've had an existing agreement with EDCOG that allows us to collaborate, and it's been approved for some time now to where we utilize their services. Sometimes we can call upon us to help them with some services and so forth. And so that process, that relationship has been really a strong one for several years. And when Vince came into the EDCOG, and David and I, we've met for some time, and they stepped out and took this before the Council of Governments. And I listed, I won't speak on every one of them, but the committee met and 100% voted in favor of this resolution to help us with $150,000. And it goes back in time when you look at some of these counties and some of these cities where Ed and I have come together to help with other cities when storms have come. We've just reached out and helped and assisted and done those things with cleanup or help them with that. Police, fire have probably done numerous things through the years to help all these different cities. They all came together and voted unanimously and without question. And the only stipulations that we have is that the request was not to raise the fares and not to stop any kind of Saturday type service. And this does allow us to take a proactive, which is some of the agenda items on the consent agenda, is to go into microtransit, which is a new form of transportation, allow us to explore that and allow us to do things more. It's unknown territory in ways, but we've been utilizing it under just different terms. And but what does it mean for us citizens? And this just allows us to kind of pause and move forward. And then with recommendation would be to y'all consider the adoption of this resolution and of the $150,000 assist with the transit department's operating costs. And this resolution also accepts any amendments to increase funding levels and reduce that local match requirement. We receive TxDOT funding, we receive FTA funding, we receive a local match from TxDOT, we receive local match from different various things that we do within the city as far as advertisements on our buses, a lot of things, but this is a significant help for the city. And again, Vince Orta or David Cleveland is here this morning for any of your questions you might have.
You know, Russ, you start off with this is about the excitement of this item. This is probably one of the best things in the agenda for the day. And, you know, we had these public meetings, I believe there were 3 of them, and where we talked about raising rates and reducing service. And it wasn't a popular discussion, and it wasn't good at all. And so we wanted to put a pause on it to try to reevaluate and what we could do. So I really do applaud David and Vince, but David Cleveland, who's here from EDCOG, this is about relationships. And so I can't thank you enough for stepping up and with this $150,000 and also stipulating that the money's coming to us if we don't increase fares and don't change the routes or change the service on Saturday. So it's a win-win for us for sure. And I hope you show up again next year. So any questions for Russ or for David or
I do have one question on that stipulation that Russ both and you, Mayor, mentioned. Is it a stipulation just for the year for these funds, or is it in perpetuity where if the rates were raised, then we have to pay this $150,000 back?
No,
Or is it
sir.
just for this year?
Just for this year alone, and even talking with Kedrick, we feel very comfortable with it, and we're able to take some proactive steps, again, with microtransit and how we're doing some things. And the state, FTA, everybody was notified, they've approved. Main thing was that it was not, FTA would not approve this if this was a grant that they received from an FTA or TxDOT, and this is money that they have received through all the local agencies, and clearly including us through the years.
All right. David, you want to come say anything, or are you good? But you got to do it up here. I know you got to, it's going to be a struggle.
No, sir, I'd just like to say, from the East Texas Council of Governments perspective, this makes an awful lot of sense. We appreciate the partnership with the city of Tyler, and we look forward to future collaborations like this. We're in this together, Russ, and together we'll figure this out. So this is year one. Hope to be back here next year. Thank you and Merry Christmas.
Thank you, David. All right. Who wants to make a motion on this
So
one?
moved.
Second.
Got a motion by McKellar, second by Nichols. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thanks, David. All right, 01, Lauren.
Morning, Mayor and Council. I'm here to present the 2024 Budget Amendment Ordinance. We are, during fiscal year 22-23, there were various purchases and projects that were initiated but not completed as projected. Okay, sorry, I'm too short apparently. The monies available to fund these items became part of the ending working capital or the fund balance of the various funds as of September 30th, 2023. So the fiscal year 23-24 beginning budget is being amended to carry forward the necessary funding to complete the items in progress. Also included in the attached list of recommended amendments are requests for appropriations relating to new projects. These projects includes funds for purchasing items for a fire grant and adding a project engineer. So in total for the general fund, we're a little over $1 million. General capital projects funds, we're rolling $287,000. For the quality street commitment, we're rolling $1.2 million. Park improvement, $75,000. Tourism, $135,000. PEG, $100,000. For the water utilities, $420,000. For water utilities capital projects, $2.9 million. Solid waste capital projects, $460,000. Stormwater, $569,000. BES, $3 million, and then the technology fund, $76,000. So grand total net of revenues is around $10.4 million. So it is recommended that the City Council consider approving the attached ordinance amending the fiscal year 23-24 budget to provide funding to complete the various construction projects, motor vehicle purchases, and other purchases not completed by September 30th, 2023 as anticipated.
Any questions for Lauren?
Move to approve 01.
Second.
Motion by Curtis, second by Wynn. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. M1.
I'm back again. So I'm presenting the revenue and expenditure report for quarter 4 ending September 30th, 2023. For the general fund, the revenues came in higher than budgeted by $3.3 million, and then they were under budget on the expenditures by $2.2 million. For the water utility fund, the revenues came in at $143,000 less than budgeted, And then the total expenditures were 3.7 million under budget. That's where some of the road projects come from. So if you see that the expenditures are less than budgeted, a lot of those are getting rolled over because we're still completing those projects. On the solid waste fund, their revenues were 40,000 less than budgeted, and then their expenditures were 665,000 more than budgeted. On the airport fund, their revenues were 4,000 higher than they budgeted, and then their expenditures were 195,000 less than they budgeted. On the development services fund, their revenues came in at around 145,000 higher than budgeted, and then their expenditures were 318,000 less than budgeted. On the HOT fund, their revenues came in at 100,000 greater than budgeted, and then their expenses were 135,000 less than budgeted. On the employee benefits fund, their revenues came in at 2.7 million more than budgeted, and then their expenditures were 2.4 million higher than budgeted also. That was a stop loss claim that came in, so we received the revenue to offset the expenditures. So with that, I request that the City Council review and consider accepting the revenue and expenditure report for the period ending September 30th, 2023.
Any questions for Lauren?
Lori, may I see that hot tax again, please?
Yes.
I'm sorry. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
So do you know what on the solid waste, what the driver on the,
Most of that was for maintenance on the trucks. Are you talking about for the expenditures being
Higher
more than budget?
expenditures.
They have a lot of overtime, and then also, but most of it actually is related to maintenance on the trucks. And the 460,000 that we're rolling in the solid waste capital that you saw on the previous item, we're purchasing a new truck
So
with that. So
obviously
we're
the-
trying to get some new trucks in rotation so that
yeah, so I'm assuming you're saying that maintenance was unplanned?
yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, if Leroy's here, he can probably go into more detail if you need more.
Sure, he's already up.
Can you go back to that screen on solid waste?
Yes. Yes, sir.
Good morning.
Morning, Leroy.
Yeah, so the overages on expenditures, as far as the labor, a lot of that was dealing with the winter storm.
Okay.
And then for maintenance, yeah, we've got 10 trucks on order. Let's see, 8 of them were ordered in 2022, and we've got 1 and 2 ordered this year. So just a lot of higher maintenance costs.
Keeping older trucks running?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Leroy.
Thanks. Can you go to the employee benefit slide?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Just wanted to see that before Lance comes up here in a little bit. All right, any other questions for Lauren?
Move to approve M1.
Second.
Got a motion by Curtis, second by McKellar. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thanks, Lauren.
Thanks, Lauren.
M2, Nikki. Okay, before you start your presentation,
Yes,
your baby is part of the Bring Your Baby to Work program.
yes, she is.
So where's your baby?
I'm sorry, what?
Where's your baby?
She is with Sam in the office. They're my designated
Where?
caregiver. With Sam in the office.
At the office.
I didn't think it'd be good to bring her. She likes to make fart noises with her mouth, so.
So do you like that program?
Yes, exactly. Yes, I do. She's been a really good baby. I'm blessed to have such just a very calm, chill baby, so it works great with having her in the office.
Other than the noises?
Yeah, other than the fart noises, they bring a little sense of just laughter and fun to the office when you just randomly hear a baby make fart noises. It's kind of funny.
Great program. All right.
So my name is Nikki Ingram. I'm a project engineer for Tyler Water Utilities, and I am here to present agenda item M2 to award the construction contract for the Service Center remodel project. The Service Center is a bright blue building located on the south side of Loop 323 and east of Gentry Parkway. It was built in the 1950s. And so the current state of the Service Center infrastructure is outdated and no longer conducive to meeting the evolving needs of our staff. A remodel is necessary to modernize the facility, ensuring it aligns with current building codes and provides adequate office spaces for our growing staff. Part of this project entails enclosing the platform shown on the two pictures on the left, and this will provide additional office spaces and a break room for the employees. Also, the bathrooms and showers will be renovated. They're in poor condition right now. So the flooring throughout the bathrooms, hallways, and offices contain asbestos, and so an abatement will be conducted prior to construction.
Can you go to the next slide, please?
You can bring the baby food before it's out.
The scope of this project includes getting the building up to date with current codes and standards. New air ducts and HVAC will be installed. We will improve security at the front entrance. There will be electrical improvements. We'll add additional office spaces, a break room, 2 conference and training rooms. We will renovate the bathrooms and showers and improve ADA accommodations. So this remodel aims to create a space that fosters collaboration, productivity, and employee satisfaction. The Service Center remodel was publicly advertised, and bids were read aloud on October 24th, 2023. We received 5 bids, and the lowest responsible bidder was Paragon Construction in the amount of $616,132. So it is my recommendation that the City Council authorize the City Manager to execute a construction contract with Paragon Construction for the construction of the Service Center remodel project in the amount of $616,132 and adopt a resolution reserving the right to reimburse expenditures with proceeds of future debt.
Any questions for Nikki?
Are you sure that's gonna be enough money?
I think so. Well, we hope so.
Just the bathroom remodel.
I know, just the bathroom by itself.
I move to approve.
All right. We got a motion by Nichols, second by McGee. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. M3.
I think Lauren had a freak out moment a second ago when she had enough money.
So I'm also here to present agenda item M3 to award a construction contract for the Charleston Lift Station Rehabilitation Project. In 2017, Tyler Water Utilities entered into a consent decree with the EPA to address the city's aging wastewater. The Charleston Lift Station was included in this report. The lift station is located east of Old Omen and south of Highway 64. The scope of the project will include the installation of new submersible pumps, wet well repairs and rehabilitation, site piping improvements, site and access improvements, fencing improvements, replacement of deteriorated electrical and controls, and the installation of an automatic transfer switch and natural gas standby generator. The project was publicly advertised and bids were opened and read aloud on November 14, 2023. We received 2 bids, and the lowest responsible bidder was Capco Construction in the amount of $621,033. So it is my recommendation that the City Council authorize the City Manager to execute a construction contract with Capco Construction for the construction of the Charleston Lift Station Rehabilitation Project in the amount of $621,033 and adopt a resolution reserving the right to reimburse expenditures with proceeds of future debt.
Well, this is evidence. Time table with encore. I'll go check on Okay. Wow.
Still on.
We're back to video. I'm good.
construction project will include installing a generator. So
That's very good. So moved.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Oh, wait.
TACNAC, the other bidder, where are they from?
I'm not sure where they're from. I can't recall.
Kate, are they out of?
They're out of state.
Out of state. So it kind of goes back to proving how sometime our local folks that know the project and been around town can probably provide us the best service at the best price.
Yes, there was Capco was substantially lower.
Less than half, yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
So was that, who made the motion?
I did.
Okay.
Second.
Okay. We got a motion by McKellar, second by Nichols. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Tom Trimble with Encore, thank you for making sure we have electricity.
Instantly fixing our problem.
I think your generator's on.
Do what?
I think your generator's on, I can hear it.
Oh,
I'll check on it.
okay.
Good.
All right.
All right, well,
All right,
good
Kate.
morning.
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 I'm here to present, I'm Kate Dietz, Director of Utilities for Tyler Water Utilities. This agenda item M4 is for the 2024 water meter replacement program. So I wanted to start off by kind of going around a little background of our system. In Tyler, we have a large water metering system. It covers approximately or over 50 square miles of area with varying topography. We have about 40,000 meters spread out across 4 different billing cycles, as you can see on the map on your screen. So our existing meter system was installed in 2005, and we've experienced intermittent issues since that time. But over the past several years, the issues have become increasingly worse, and now we have thousands of meters per month that are either coming up as unread or does not register. And that total number is around 11,000 meters per month that are coming up that way. Unread meters are meters where the MXU or the radio transmitter is not sending a signal to our electronic reading system. So those have to be manually read. And then DNRs means does not register, which is the meter is not registering any water flow. So therefore it's showing zero consumption, and manual investigation is needed to determine is the house vacant or if the meter has actually gone bad. So this presents many issues. So we have had some inaccurate billing, increased man hours have been spent to manually read and investigate these meters. We have a third-party contractor right now that we have that are being used as well to read meters to get these readings. So about 27% of our total meter system has some type of issue reading or communicating with the billing office. So because of this, about a year ago, we started talking with our meter shop and billing office to research and investigate what meter system now would be a best fit for the city. Was there updated technology? Where should we go with this? So they reached out to multiple municipalities to discuss what problems that they had faced and what successes they were seeing in the metering world. They went out and actually visited both Frisco and Corsicana. And the Neptune T10 stood out as a reputable product with better technology from multiple sources that we spoke with. So in the replacement program, we'll be updating and replacing our advanced metering infrastructure, AMI, with a new fixed bases around town to pick up the meter readings and communicate those readings back to the billing office. Core and Main, who will be doing the work for us, will be conducting a propagation study to ensure that adequate infrastructure is involved to make sure that we can communicate those signals with our varying topography in town. A benefit of the T10 is that the same meter offers an automated meter reading or AMR option, which is a drive-by option. In the event that an AMI tower goes down, we have a power outage. That way the meter reader can actually drive by the meter and collect in a handheld the readings from the meters on that street. So our intent is to launch a large-scale replacement program here in 2024 with the monies we've been able to come up with, the $3.45 million that we're requesting today. That will address a considerable portion of these problem meters at about 8,000 of those meters with $3.45 million. That will help us with the immediate issues that we face with accurate billing, and will hopefully begin to gain trust back within the community as far as our billing issues have been concerned. So from there, we'll go into an annual replacement program to replace approximately 1,700 meters per year with $800,000 per year that we've allocated in our CIP. So that should, at that rate, that should enable us to address all the problem meters within the first 3 years, and then perform a complete system overhaul within 20. Excuse me. So I'm here to request that the City Council consider authorizing the city manager to execute all necessary documents and contracts to accomplish the water meter replacement project with Core & Main of Tyler, Texas, in the amount of $3,450,000 for the purchase of Neptune water meters, registry units, and accessories during fiscal year 23-24 as needed, and to furnish material and labor for replacing existing water meters that have been identified for replacement with the Neptune T10 and associated infrastructure, HGAC contract number 20-00808.
Any questions for Kate?
Yeah. Kate, 2 quick questions. With the new meters, can a homeowner manipulate the meters?
They won't be able to manipulate the meters, but they will. We are working on them being able to actually see their meter readings in real time on an app.
Okay. And second question, during this process, will y'all ask Core & Main to also look at the connection from the homeowner's side? Because right now we're doing the survey on the lead base pipe connection.
We are working on discussing pricing on that right now.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a good idea. So Kate, who would actually do the installs? Third party, or would your department, when you're doing these replacements, do?
Especially this first year, Core & Main, the third party would be doing it.
Core & Main.
Core & Main. They're a major supply house in town that we use for many of our annual purchasing agreements, and they have the staff. And I believe that Corsicana, and Shelley's here, she's representing Neptune and Core & Main, and she can answer any questions you have, but I believe that Corsicana is doing this with Core & Main as well. Yes.
And so the 3.4 right here represents the dollars needed also for the installs?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir. So that's the fixed-based infrastructure that we need, as well as the meters, because we need something for it to communicate to as well. So.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Shelley.
Kate, how soon will this project start? When will it start?
I'm hoping at the beginning of the year. Right now, we're working through some contract with legal so that it can be ready to be signed. But hopefully, we can hit the ground running.
So you mentioned that you could drive by these meters and check consumption with a handheld device. How would they normally work?
Typically, like on our current system, there's a little radio transmitter on top of the meter. On this system, it's all integrated into the one meter, and it communicates from this radio transmitter to these towers. Like we'll have one on top of Copeland, we have on our different water towers or high spots in town, and so it communicates the meter consumption at a certain, or actually continually. And actually, Tiffany Dunkley is also here, who is kind of an expert in all of this, so if you would like her to come up and, if I'm not answering your question sufficiently.
I didn't realize it worked that way. And the Frisco, Corsicana, San Angelo, and Belton, they're all using this system?
Yes, they're all using the Neptune. They're all using the Neptunes, and I think it was Corsicana, it's Frisco, who's actually been through a whole meter change out, and they're going back in again with it, because you need to continuously be replacing
What's the expected life of one of these meters?
20 years.
Okay.
I mean, that's the engineering expected life. It's a safe number. Yes. Okay.
Does Tyler Water Utilities receive a lot of calls for this issue?
Yes.
In fact, I don't know if Tiffany wants to come address this.
Yeah, Tiffany.
This is the #1 call.
Tiffany, come on up here.
Council members get them too.
There you go.
That's true. Besides Costco.
Right, I know, right?
Good morning. Just morning. Tell us the day in the life of Tiffany.
I don't know that we have enough time for that, but On a daily basis, we receive a lot of calls regarding the actual reading of the meters. We found that a lot of the meters that we have in the ground right now have been damaged by residents because they didn't know what the wires were. And so breaking those wires have caused us not to be able to get an electronic reading on them. And so that's why we have a lot of unreads. Outside of them, some of them just failing, but a lot of cut wires is causing the problem. But we do get a lot of calls.
Is everybody happy when they call?
No, I can't say that they are. There's been a lot of confusion as far as, water consumption and all the things, because they don't see people out physically lifting the lids and reading the meters, so we have to explain to them that we press a button for the most part from our office to get the readings. There's some, of course, the 11,000 that we have to actually go out and get manual readings for, and so they want to know why we read their neighbor's meter and not theirs. And so we have to explain to them that with theirs, we were able to hit the button.
Well, and when you can't get a reading, y'all do, is it average billing that we do?
We do not do average billing.
Okay, because I read that somewhere.
Yeah, that's not true. If we can't.
With the Costco thing.
Yes, so if we can't get the electronic reading, we do send the third party out to collect the reading. If he's not able to get the reading, the 4 guys that are in our office go get the reading, sometimes help with the service center. If for some reason we are unable to get the reading, we fix it, because it could be something wrong with the meter in itself. Now, if that happens, we do take an estimate, but we do not do average billing. And we do the estimate based on the ordinance.
Well, thank you for what you do. We're behind you.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
So Kate, the way that Tiffany explained the wires getting cut by the residents,
Yes.
that's what I meant by manipulating with this new.
Oh,
It doesn't,
It's
because it's all,
yes.
okay.
there's no wires in this
Good.
new one. I mean, externally.
Yeah.
It's all internal.
Okay. Any other questions for Kate? Got a motion by McKellar, second by McGee. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thanks, Kate.
Thank you.
M5, Regina. Lance.
Good morning, Mayor and Council.
Good morning.
Regina Moss, Director of Organizational Development. I'm here this morning to introduce Lance Pentley. He is with McGriff Consulting. He's going to present our stop-loss bid and award for your consideration. I don't think he has any persuasive pictures as included in Nikki's presentation, but he does have some good numbers for you this year.
Thanks, Regina. Mayor, Council, good to see everybody this morning. Lance Penley, McGriff Insurance Services, your employee benefits consultant. With me today, Ryan Wiggins, my co-consultant. He came to the November meeting with us as well. This is our annual presentation for the council on stop loss. I think I've got some good news for you today as I previewed in November. As a reminder, we are self-insured. The city of Tyler is self-insured up to on any individual claimant. So that would be an employee, a spouse, a child, a pre-65 retiree, or their spouse. We would be liable for the first $375,000 in claims on that individual. And then the reinsurance picks up claims over and above that amount. We also have aggregate coverage on our group as a whole that really protects us from lots of claims that could in total aggregate to a large deficit or much higher than we budgeted for today. So we're here for recommendations on both of those projects. I also wanted to bring up too, from a budgeting standpoint, we spend about $15 million in healthcare expenses. Some of that comes from the employees. We do deduct money out of their paychecks. This represents about 6% of that cost. So it is an expensive cost that we pay to Berkeley on an annual basis, but it's a small percentage of the overall cost that we spend on healthcare. So as a reminder, McGriff, we do procure this insurance on an annual basis because they are one-year contracts. So we did go out for a formal bid this year, RFP 23-081. Our contract for stop loss runs on a calendar year. So I'll be showing you two numbers, a calendar year savings and also a fiscal year savings. So slightly different because our plan, our employees, their deductibles, their out-of-pocket, their open enrollment, everything resets on January 1st, so different than the fiscal year. We did request a one-year term with the option to renew for 4 additional terms. So there have been scenarios in the past where we did not do a formal RFP, that we may have done a market check, negotiated with the current vendor. So that is, that information, that language was in the RFP process. We had 13 carriers that we went to procure insurance. We had 10 declines, 3 quotes. Berkeley, who's our incumbent, if you remember, most of you were here last year, we delivered a very large increase. We delivered a 40% renewal increase. We had, when the year ended up, we had $3.5 million in reimbursements back to the city, and that's probably also what the finance department's talking about as it relates to the budget. We had $3.5 million in reimbursements, and we ended up paying about $1 million in premium. So Berkeley gave us a big renewal. Good news this year, we're getting some of that back. We have negotiated, and their best and final offer was a 9.22% reduction from the 2023 rates, which represent, just under $100,000, and on a fiscal year, just under 8%. When we had set the budget in July for this specific coverage, we would have told the finance department, to budget for a 12 to 15% increase. So if you look at that on a net basis, it's about 20% back that we can allocate now for claims and other necessary budget items. So a big win. I think you were my only customer to get a reduction this year after a big increase last year.
So how many years has it been since there was a decrease?
I've been working with you since 2016. I'm not sure I've ever delivered a reduction.
I don't remember one either.
And you've been with me on agendas, and I think annual trend is in the 10 to 15% range. So that's what we would expect to be delivering to you on an annual basis, a lot of times regardless of your individual experience. So I believe, Mayor, this is the first reduction I've delivered to you in a long time. As I mentioned, $375,000 specific deductible. We have a contract that covers us for a number of years prior to the new contract for 2024. It'll cover us for 3 to 4 years prior if claims were submitted. It's a very rare case, but that can happen where a provider submits a claim very late. We've talked about this before, but as a reminder, we have a no new laser renewal, which means that Berkeley and or any other carriers that we would work with can't come in and look at specific individuals and go, we don't like them at the $375,000. We want to raise their individual risk for the city to another number. Let's just use $500,000 for example. So Berkeley cannot do that to us. And they do have a rate cap that they can provide us at renewal. Last year, they did want to exercise. As a reminder, I'm going to be showing some rates here in a minute. They did want to exercise close to, if not their rate cap. And from an optic standpoint and from a partnership perspective, they came in from a negotiations, and we ended up at about 40%. So they did want, rate increases over and above that. They were a good partner for us and came in. It sounds terrible, but at the 40%. So, and we've been with Berkeley for a number of years as well. So I think we've been with them since 2021. I won't go into all the details here unless you have questions, but basically there's 2 components. We pay insurance premium. And that insurance premium for the next calendar year with Berkeley would be just over $900,000 for our individual coverage and our what we call aggregate coverage, which would be for the group as a whole. And then these large numbers down here, the $20 million, that's really what is our claim liability. So claims would, potential reimbursements would kick in if we went over, in Berkeley's case, the $20.6 million in claims. Once again, that covers our actives, our retirees, and we spend, you know, like I said, our budget's 15, 16 million, something like that. We are requesting the council to award this RFP 23081 to renew with Berkeley for the 2024 calendar year. I'll open it up for questions.
Any questions for Lance?
I'm just glad to see a decrease after the 40% from last year.
Correct.
Lance, do you, I mean, why do you think that, is it something internal, the market, combination?
They certainly came in, and you can't recoup $3.5 million in losses in a year with one fell swoop. This year, and I don't have that in front of me, but Councilman, we're having a great year from a large loss perspective. So a much more profitable year. Also with our RFP, the market dictated that reduction. Okay. I'm not sure that without the RFP that, you know, the incumbent comes down 9%. And then some of those are market factors, not necessarily related to the city of Tyler specifically. But no, we're very happy to see a reduction here.
Well done.
Move to approve.
Second.
Got a motion by Nichols, second by Wynn. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Lance.
Merry Christmas.
Thanks, Ryan. Thank you. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. All right, we are to the consent agenda. Do we want to approve as presented?
Move to approve as presented.
Second.
Got a motion by Wynn, second by McGee. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. City manager's report.
Mayor and council, first I want to introduce our new assistant fire chief, Kelly Atkinson. Kelly is back there, way in the back, keeping us safe. He has been a member of the Tyler Fire Department for 27 years and interviewed for the position. Went through just kind of a rigorous panel review, and they asked Kelly if he wanted the position, and he said yes. And so we're glad for that.
Welcome.
So we're glad to have Kelly as one of our new assistant fire chiefs there.
Very good. Thank you, Chief.
And then the next piece I do want to just do is, yesterday we had our employee luncheon to celebrate the holidays, and we talked about just what a great year 2023 has been, and just kind of, I want to put that in perspective for the council, for the achievements that you've had here. You opened the new W.T. Brookshire Conference Center this year. The Cambridge Bend, $9 million on a major road improvement and drainage improvement project that was multi-years completed. The downtown master plan implementation schedule, plan and schedule was agreed upon with the county. Anytime we can agree with the county, that's a major feat. And so in that one, you'll be seeing construction on this coming calendar year. You've been able to do just amazing public safety with police and fire with different work there. Tower 10, we had that brought in, which continues just our ability to keep that one ISO rating. And then the police department, of course, has had amazing work and success. Recently there was a cold case story I hope y'all were able to pay attention to or noticed about two rapes that actually occurred back in 2005. That through just working with other law enforcement agencies, even though we're talking about something that was nearly 20 years ago, they were able to identify finally who the rapist was and arrest them. And that was just an incredible amount of just dedication and continued diligence. And that's the kind of stuff that our police department provides every day. The Parks Department, we had the revitalizations of P.T. Cole Park, Nobley Young Park. Councilman McGee was quite successful in making sure that his district looks good. Pollard Park, we just reopened that one this past weekend. Legacy Trail, the next phase of that, which again, Councilman McGee's district. As far as started construction on that one, which links all the way from 155 to Pete Elementary, and will be an impressive, as far as trail addition to our system. The water and wastewater work, as y'all know, every council meeting you have, you are doing numerous improvements to our water and wastewater system all the way through. Solid waste continues to provide exceptional service that is recognized by our citizens. Transit, of course, major discussions on transit this year and partnerships that we have emerged with that one. And then I also want to make sure that we talk about the internal services from just our finance department, legal, IT, organizational development, communications, the city clerk. All of these people are behind the scenes making sure that all of what we provide for our citizens is understood, is top rate, and we're able to provide the resources needed to be able to continue with just this call to serve excellence that we've continued to move forward with. And so this is, this is something that I want to say thank you for making this past year such an incredible achievement. The work that you do here twice a month is what helps make the direction forward in order to be able to kind of move this so that we can be able to help our neighbors, our families, our loved ones have a better Tyler for tomorrow. So thank you, Council, for your work.
Thank you.
You mentioned Tower 10, but we have 2 new engines coming as well. Push-in ceremonies right around the corner.
That's right. Push-ins next week, or this week, or next week? Next week. There'll be 2 of them back to back that will be pushing those fire trucks in there for.
Right.
So good job to the chief and assistant chief over there for that.
Well, thank you, Ed, too, for being able to survey the body of the city and the departments so well to realize that this is the best council ever.
I want to say thank you also, and I have one question. When will Glenwood come down?
Glenwood, the water tower there, is scheduled for this calendar or fiscal year. So it'll be probably sometime in the spring. I think Kate, there's Kate. Do you have that kind of an actual idea on that one?
CIP on me.
Yep.
But, it's scheduled in the CIP for the next few years, I believe.
Oh, next couple of years, not so this year.
Oh, next couple of years?
Yeah, I believe so.
Oh.
I'll check on it, and I'll get back with you.
Thank you. And you said twice a month, and then all the rest of the month also.
Exactly. Hourly, really, is what y'all are.
And it's an honor to work.
Anyway, very good city manager's report.
Yes,
Probably the best
yes.
I've heard. This will be our only meeting for this month, so I'll say the same that Ed said. It's been an honor to serve with everybody in 2023. Look forward to 2024. Thank you to all the staff, all the citizens out there. We appreciate you all. And we are going to go into an executive session, so I'm going to read this off quickly. City Council may go into executive session regarding any item posted on the agenda as authorized by Title V, Chapter 551 of the Texas Government Code. Notice is hereby given that the City Council may go into executive session in accordance with the following provisions of the Government Code. Executive session item number 1 under Texas Government Code Section 551.071 litigation, deliberation regarding the following. Pending or contemplating litigation or settlement offer involving Leyland Bradley Construction, Inc. and Lexon Insurance Company.
That's it.
Can I stop there? Any action, final action by the city council will be taken in open session. I think we'll probably be in executive session for about 15 minutes. Don't know if we'll have action or not. We'll be back in a bit. Thank you.
Where is Darren?
What's this about?
Oh,
our system works. We have, there's
I'll get back with you shortly.
Question.
It's doable, no, I would really worry. I consider the other ones other ones just need their first time. I told them, I said, you can take that. 6 months. So I don't know. So I don't know. Yeah, but when you are down there, is that? The numbers that the recruits have up here this time, you know, that was about 75 days. Yes, so it really doesn't be double, $30. The other one, very simple.
Delicious. We have one here. We did a lot. We were just combined. All the other things work together. Rest of it here, stuff like that. We put all that stuff together.
So you can run lights and sirens.
I do that anyway. You know,
Usually they're behind you, but this one, you can get in front of you.
It's amazing what you have in charge.
Appreciate y'all waiting.
All right, looks like we are still on air, so we are back from executive session, and we do have an action item.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion that we approve the settlement agreement with Leland Bradley Construction, Inc. and Lexon Insurance Company and authorize the city manager to execute the proposed settlement agreement, which in essence includes the penal sum of the original CIP contract be reduced from $1,297,694.50 down to $1,182,063.50, and that the city pay Lexon on behalf of Leland Bradley the sum of $87,256.20 as full and final consideration on the project to resolve the dispute.
Second.
All right, got a motion by Curtis, second by Haney. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. That concludes everything on our agenda, so I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
All right, we are adjourned.